Okay, the meeting for the Board of Registrars on July 30th at 4:30ish on Wednesday, Thursday. Please
41.
come to order.
Okay. All right. So, Madam Chair, if I may speak to the issue that's on the agenda, the discussion issue.
Okay.
Thank you. The review of polling place accessibility amid social distancing requirements and concern for voter and election personnel safety. We've received several memos from the Elections Division of the Secretary of State's office urging us to review our polling locations. As you recall, for the town election, we consolidated all polling locations to one location because we had such a large volume of vote by mail
Right.
ballots that were mailed out. Now, for the state primary, we expect a higher volume, and of course, for the presidential election, a higher volume still of people that will still be coming in. And excuse me, we have to be able to ensure that we have the proper social distancing measures in place. So we do have 4 different locations for 5 precincts. 2 precincts share one of the polling locations. So we have to look at what the flow is. The things that have changed are that rather than using check-in and check-out tables, we can eliminate the checkout table. We can also use electronic poll pads or the electronic check-in devices like we used at the presidential primary for early voting. We can use those on election day. There are several vendors that are going to be applying for certification. This is all coming up very quickly. So the Secretary of State's office is just finishing the certification guidelines that
Okay.
they will need to follow. But Michelle Tassinari, the Director of Elections, anticipates that those polling devices that we're using typically will be certified.
So this is something new for us then,
Yes, it is new that we would
I guess,
be
for everybody. Yeah.
using, yeah, yep, the electronic polling devices. Those have never been certified before, but that will allow us to manage a smaller election worker pool
Oh.
by needing to have fewer people there.
Mhm.
One thing that was brought up to me is that we can't require people to wear face masks during polling. We can urge them to wear face masks, but some people for medical reasons are not able to
Yeah.
wear face masks, and we still have to serve them as we would serve any voter in
Yep.
assisting them with getting the ballot they're entitled to.
Mhm.
So I've the state has ordered personal protective equipment for election workers and for voters, and we will have the sneeze guards set up. Those worked well at the town election,
Yep.
and we've also gotten some of the visors for
Mhm.
those workers that will not be sitting behind the sneeze protectors. But that being said, um, I guess what I'm thinking is that I'd like to share some drawings that I've made for a reconfiguration of polling locations to have the wardens and clerks review them and see what they think.
Yeah.
And then
Are you gonna have? Do you anticipate getting poll workers?
I have gotten several new people who are interested in helping out. There are a lot of people who are sitting these fall elections out because of
Right.
the risks. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're not going to have a full slate of workers, but I think we'll have enough people, and an awful lot of people. And the League of Women Voters has also reached out. In fact, a former town clerk, Nancy Cronin, called me to say that whatever help is needed to reach out to them for that. So
Oh,
I'm very
good.
grateful for that. So as time draws nearer, because we also have the issue of processing all these vote by mail ballot applications, the postcards that have
Mhm.
arrived. So we haven't been able to send them out yet. The ballots just arrived earlier this week, but we have to enter them into our state system that is just being upgraded tonight. So it's all, things aren't quite in the order that we would have liked, but there's
Yeah.
nothing that can be done.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I can do is review these ideas with the wardens and clerks, and then ask for another meeting,
Okay.
and I can share the layouts. I don't know if you have any concerns about any of the polling locations that you'd like to share.
The only thing that concerns me is Harvey Wheeler, where there are two precincts.
Hmm.
That it's going to be crowded, I would think.
Well, we do have two separate entrances and two separate exits.
Oh, okay.
So, and the hallway, standing in the hallway, I think could be a challenge, but if we can stagger where we put the X's, the 6 foot distant X's,
Yeah.
then we don't necessarily have people waiting next to each other at closer
Yeah.
than the 6 foot distance. We also have a few of those moving walls that we've used in the
Mhm.
hearing room before that we might be able to put up
Okay.
to further separate the two areas. I
Right.
don't know how
Mhm.
you feel about that. If you think that will help, Wendy.
I think it would help. And when you talk about the two separate entrances and exits, the concern, one of the buildings I was the most concerned about was Kai's Road,
Okay.
Right. That's small to begin
because
with. Yeah.
that's sort of a dead end when you walk into that room. There's no door out of there other than the one you came in.
Yep.
And is that the same at Hunt?
Whew. Hunt's
Yes.
is
I think there's just
we. The,
one.
Well, you go out, you come in maybe sideways of Hunt, but you leave the front way. You can leave
you
going back out onto the street.
But into the room that has the voting. I'm not sure
You
if
are,
there are two
there's not two
doors.
doors. It's double doors wide open, but it's,
Yeah,
you're going to be passing someone, unless you split that room, like take and have everything go very far apart and have
yeah.
somebody stagger the people coming in and leaving. I don't know how that would work.
I think that's what we have to do in, if we don't have another option, then having someone, like at the grocery store, making sure that you don't have people walking through the door at the same time, so that
Right,
if someone is ready to leave, the person going in has to just wait until the other person has left.
right,
And having the design so that someone who is, if there's a line of people entering, um, they're not crossing over the door or over the hearth to enter, to go to the check-in. They're sort of on the same side as the entrance door. It's hard to explain what I've
yeah.
drawn out. But depending on the path of travel down the hallway before they enter the room that has the voting, they should stay on one side so that when someone is exiting, they're not crossing the line, if you know what
right.
I
Can we
mean,
look
to leave the
physically
building.
at this?
Yes. So um, I wish I could share this. Um, what I'd like to do, so I have a draft right now, and rather than posting a draft online,
Uh huh.
which I suppose I could do, um, and put it on the website with draft minutes. And then I'll talk to the wardens and clerks and see what input they have, because they often have very good input because they're there. So they're thinking about it already, and they
Right.
probably have been thinking about it.
Kari, I have a question about the Hunt Rec. Is the after-school program going to be in existence at that time?
The
I
what,
don't
Wendy?
know.
You know how the Hunt Rec program
Oh,
is
right.
after
Yeah,
school.
right.
I have no
So
idea.
that might
'Cause
be an important question, because you're going to have a lot of,
Yeah, I
students.
don't think you can have strangers coming in and out if you've got a kids program going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be a question to ask of the rec department to find out, because I know when we looked at a potential of moving the voting upstairs at one point,
Hmm.
only to find out that the elevator capacity and so forth was going to be a problem, and the staircase in itself
Yeah.
would be a challenge for many. Where would those children, if that program is indeed going forward, going to be?
Well, I think that is an after-school program.
Yes.
So where school is not in session yet,
It won't be in session. Okay, that was another question I don't
I
have.
think that will be an
Oh,
issue in November. But
Okay,
right.
this is for the primary, it's August voting.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So
The
we will
primary-
have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about a lot of things for the November election and early
Yeah.
voting,
Is the
because
primary September 1st?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So early voting starts August 22nd, which is a Saturday and Sunday. And the voter registration deadline is on Saturday as well. So we'll be in the hearing room of the townhouse, but then there are renovations planned for the first floor of the townhouse, which will exclude the availability of using the townhouse for the November election. But that's a future conversation, so we'll have to figure that out after the state primary, but in time for early voting in October.
Kari, it's just a quick thought here. Because we were fortunate enough to use the high school back in June for the town election, are we not allowed to use a different facility if one is bordering on being too crowded, such as Harvey Wheeler, to put one of the two?
We absolutely have options to look at facilities. If there's a facility that's available that's better, it's we can make a recommendation to the select board, and then they can designate different locations, and we just have to let the public know.
Yes. Okay. I thought that
Okay.
in June that ran beautifully and was very well
Yes.
spaced, and had that required one in, one out, and different doors, and was
I know that
really,
strictly speaking, it's handicapped accessible, but it's a long walk from the parking lot into the place where you vote.
At the high school? Yeah.
At the high school, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's true. And for just the volume of voters that we'll have,
Yeah.
probably for the state primary, and especially for the presidential election, I don't think that's going to be feasible.
Yeah.
Part of it is that we won't know until we're well into the process of the vote by mail ballot processing to see what the numbers are, and by then it's too late to change the polling location.
Okay.
So I think we have to give at least 2 weeks advance notice if we're changing.
Okay. Well, we're closing in on that, aren't we?
Yes. Yes, we are. Historically, the state primary before a presidential election has been a very quiet election. We've already gotten more applications to vote by mail than we had turnout in the last state primary before a presidential election. So it's just an unusual year.
Well, don't you think it's the COVID effect? That
I think it's a
people
number of things, but yes, the fact
Yeah.
that the applications were mailed to every household.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think we should look at a different polling location than Harvey Wheeler Community Center?
I think for the presidential election, we should probably think about it, because just a regular election, it gets crowded over there. Again,
Yeah, it does.
there is the mail-in thing, which should eliminate some,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be nice to have another place.
Yeah. Well, if school's not in session on November 3rd, then that expands the possibilities
I'm pretty
for
sure
us
it won't
for,
be.
yeah, for a precinct or two there.
Yeah. And again, that's something you won't know till later
No,
on.
we don't know yet.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And we don't know if we'll have further restrictions and polling locations. These, notices are all coming in within the last week. So
Oh, wow.
it's hard to know, but we have to react.
Yeah.
So there is a polling place access checklist that the state has provided that I might ask the facilities department or public works if they're able to help us. Tim and Bob, who generally help us with setting up the polling locations, to see if what measuring the accessibility,
Yeah.
not the ramps so much as can we separate, can we have six, how many people can be in the polling place at one time observing the 6 foot social distancing?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So we'll have to do that. So I would like to get back to you
Okay.
maybe in a week,
okay.
Okay.
if
Okay.
that would be all right. Does
Yep.
this time work?
Today
4:30
it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well,
What about you?
you tell me.
Is this
How
good for
about
you,
you,
Wendy?
I think so, yes.
All
4:30
right.
is good, yes, for the most days.
So that then is August 6th.
Okay.
August 6th at 4:30.
Okay.
And I will see what I can find about alternate locations and get measurements and have a few charts that show the flow of each of the polling locations,
Yeah,
and then we can see if that's acceptable.
right. And find out about if Concord Rec has that.
Yes.
It could be earlier than the school year starting, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Are you off the CDR for the download?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we looked at the using the gym at Hunt, that didn't seem to be feasible, right?
Right. They wanted us to use the gym,
Right. Yeah.
but that wasn't feasible, so we were staying in
Yeah.
that space. Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Joanne, were you on that tour that day?
Yes.
Yes, remember, yeah, the staircase and the elevator and that whole
Right. Yeah.
access, right. And the windows don't open.
Yeah. Right. And
Well,
it was
maybe.
very warm.
And it was
Yeah.
very warm, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe by November we'll be happy about that, but certainly it doesn't
No,
look that way right away.
Right. Yeah.
No.
That's very true. Yes. All right. So I will have I guess I'll put a memo together for you with suggestions. We are a little short on time in you know, if we do need to change anything and making recommendations. In fact, there's a mailing that's meant to go out next Thursday, I think, that would have election information on one side and town meeting information on the other.
Mhm.
And I can just leave the polling location information out of that notice.
Out. Yeah.
I think that might make the most sense, rather than making assumptions that we don't actually know will be true.
Yeah. And then if you have to make changes, it only confuses everybody. So.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All right. Okay. All right then. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll hear from you then around next week. No, 2 weeks.
No, next week we'll have a meeting.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Next
Oh,
Thursday
yeah.
we'll meet at 4:30
Right.
and then
Yes,
we'll
yes.
look at the, yeah. And then
Yep.
Joanne, maybe we can talk
I will
about
have it
the
straightened
Zoom
out.
issue. Okay.
Yeah, I will. Okay.
All
Thank you,
right.
Kari.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I guess we're adjourned.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
Right.
the meeting is
That's okay.
adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.